Hi, Todd VanDenburg here with VanDenburg Capital Management and another Uncommon Sense update. So I know I sound like a broken record, but over the last week, the stock markets were volatile. Go figure. Between the nonstop China news, are we going to be in a war with China, a trade war with China, and the nonstop tweets from President Trump that every time he tweets something, the market jumps 100 points. That's just sort of the new normal. But what we're seeing, in spite of market volatility, is that the economic indicators in the U.S. are still incredibly sound and positive. So with unemployment, economic growth, pretty much anything that you would look at to see whether there's some trouble ahead, there really isn't anything really negative to look at that would tell us that we need to be concerned about the U.S. economy. So the stock market volatility is not necessarily a leading indicator of short-term or medium-term economic collapse of the United States. It's really just more of an indication that people are skittish, and every time the president tweets something or the media focuses on something, it's having an impact. But again, in the long run, stock markets tend to follow the economics, and so that's where we're spending most of our time. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about today. Today is more about the concept of sustainability and investing in things that can have a positive impact on the planet. And just as a side note, I spent the better part of this morning at an entrepreneurship class at Petaluma High School, judging presentations from a bunch of their students. And I just got to say that there was a common thread across many of their presentations. And it's that they really are concerned about making sure that the kinds of businesses they might start are sustainable and are having a positive impact on the country and on the broader globe. So there are a whole slew of investments that people can make that are for clean water and clean energy and a whole host of other things that are potentially sustainable or have a positive impact on underdeveloped countries, getting people to lower their carbon footprint. There's all kinds of investments. The problem seems to be that many of those investments tend to find struggles when trying to achieve profitability that causes their stock price to go up. So some of my clients who really want to own these types of investments, we own them, but we own them with the understanding that they may not do quite as well as maybe some other investments that don't have a primary focus of sustainability or positive impact to the economy, the country, the planet. So as you're making investments, it's perfectly okay to make investments based upon your desires to see the positive impacts to our planet. But you also need to understand that unless you're very, very careful, you're likely to see returns that aren't quite as good as what you might get from sort of a more diversified portfolio. So what I tend to recommend to people who really think that they want to invest in this way, in a more thoughtful way as far as being sustainable and having a positive impact, is find a nice balance, right? We don't need to own things where the primary business function is potentially harmful to the planet, but let's own high quality things, large companies that are doing right by their shareholders and the citizens of the United States and the globe, and let's balance those kinds of companies with maybe more targeted companies that do things like in the solar realm or clean water, things like that have more of a positive impact and are more specifically targeted at that. So once again, it comes down to diversification. We can't do it. Well, I guess we could. We could do all of our investments in such a way as we only invested in companies that were, doing highly sustainable and what's called ESG compliant activities. But if we do, we should just expect that we're probably going to see lower returns. And I think that there are ways to do this in a way that sort of balances both needs. And again, bringing it back to the high school class at Petaluma High today, I have nothing but great hope that as they move into the business world, they will have a positive impact and sort of force more people into being more aware and take more positive action in these areas. So sort of an odd update today because it didn't really have to do with the economy or anything like that, but doing things that are sustainable has become just really top of mind these days, and it's important that we think about how can we do it, how can we invest in a responsible way that is still causing people to make money, but not necessarily doing it at the expense of the planet. If you have any questions about this or want to know if any of your investments are eco-friendly, ESG compliant, sustainable, have positive impact, all that kind of stuff, give us a call. I'd be happy to help. It's something we do all day, every day here. Otherwise, that was your update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, and I'll be back next week with another Uncommon Sense update. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to be the first to hear of more Uncommon Sense updates like these, please click the subscribe button below. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.